Hi, this is Chandra with Genuine Heart Counseling. Feels like it's been a really long time since I've been on here, and it has been. It's been many, many months since I offered anything here. I was so excited to be able to be a resource in the midst of COVID-19 and to offer some little bits of support in the middle of one of the biggest stressors I can even imagine, just because of how many different facets are being affected by this pandemic and just kind of by the general feel of the world at large. Feelings and relationships and regulation, that's my expertise. That's what I do. And that's what I am so excited to be able to offer as support. But I can't come back into this space without naming the tremendous tragedies that have really affected my ability to reach out. And it started with the death of George Floyd. But that's not where it started in general. There's actually been so many people, so many Black men and women that have died even just this year before George Floyd. But it was when that happened that in the midst of all the stress that I just kind of lost any ability to really hold the bigger perspective. And I had to go inward. I had to really pause and just step back and take care of myself. That's one of the things that I talk so much about, that we're not able to care for anyone if we're not able to really recognize the feelings that are going on inside of us. And I was really overwhelmed, and I felt like each time I wanted to try and come back onto here and come back and offer some sort of support from that space of expertise, I kept getting totally overwhelmed by this other aspect that I felt like I had no understanding of at all. I have been so privileged in my life. I come from such white privilege, and even just in my world and in my environment, that's not a domain that I've spent much time in, which is unfortunate, because it's through my lack of interest and my lack of motivation and voice that these atrocities continue to happen, which is hard. It's hard for me to admit, it's hard for me to acknowledge, but I have to. And so part of me coming back into this place, being able to step back into my place of expertise, which is this domain of emotions and attachment and regulation, is I have to acknowledge this place that I don't have skill, this place that I don't have any expertise, and I feel so just so naive, and that I'm motivated through that naivete, because that's what these last months have provided for me, is an opportunity to start to do the work that I should have done earlier, to really understand what it means to be a white woman in this culture, what it means to be a Black person in this culture. That's a perspective that I've thought about, but I never really cared enough to learn. And even just in the couple of months and the little bit that I've read, it's heartbreaking, and it's humbling, and it's really, really needed. It's really important that I continue to look at this, and I really hope that others are feeling this kind of ineptitude, really, that sense of, oh my gosh, like how did this happen? But I hope that from that space of, oh my gosh, and how did this happen, that we don't get paralyzed. And that's what happened to me. That's why I couldn't get back on here. I didn't know what to say, because I felt like I couldn't step back into my expertise, because there was this huge, just this huge heartbreak in the way. There was this whole amount of violence and hurt and grief that I couldn't even wrap my arms around. I couldn't even understand it. And I still can't. It's not something that I can step into because I don't live in these Black communities. I'm not a Black person in these Black communities, but I am a fellow US citizen, and I'm someone who cares, and I'm someone that has some expertise in other ways and wants to step in and find new skills and new ways of supporting this movement, supporting this sense of a new awakening, and I want to do my part to be able to shift this momentum. So yeah, this has been a really hard year. The pandemic was hard enough, but on top of that, there has been just this huge upheaval because of the tremendous amount of pain that has been unnoticed and unrecognized and not reckoned with. And I just pray that we can continue to move forward into a new country, a new way of being a country. And yeah, I just wanted to reach out and say it. So I'm sorry I was gone, and I'm hoping that you're all well, and I look forward to more conversations.